Hello, my friends. It is day 152, and we're reading Second Chronicles chapter 1 and also Psalm chapter 72. But before we get into our recap for today, I want to thank you for taking a moment to check out this video. Hopefully, you're finding the yearly Bible reading program very encouraging, and hopefully, it's a great inspiration for you as you read through the Bible every single day. If you have not yet accepted the invitation, you can check out the description box below, and there you'll find the link that will take you directly to the YouVersion Bible app. And there you can find a link that will invite you to be a part of a community of people who are reading the Bible every single day and leaving feedback on the things they're learning. And so we'd love for you to be a part of the group. And I know we'll be blessed as much as we hope you'll be blessed by the interaction. And so today we are reading a Second Chronicles, and it's a bit of a bit redundant if you can imagine. It's the same story that we've read already, but it's also being told a slight bit differently, and it helps us recognize just the motivation behind the book of Chronicles. As we have seen before, it is set to encourage a number of individuals who are returning back from exile. And so we see in today's reading that Solomon asks for wisdom, and he's able, based on this wisdom that he receives, to do a lot of great things, build a lot of great things for the Lord. And really, he establishes his kingdom very well. I have to admire yet again the competence of Solomon to ask for something that many people would not have seen as valuable as some other requests that he may have put out, like being undefeated when it comes to battle, or having a lot of wealth or a lot of prosperity just handed over to you. Solomon in this request was able to accept an element of responsibility. And I think that is worth commending, and it's worth really appreciating. So when we look at Second Chronicles chapter 1, we see that there are a number of things there that are powerful. But for me, when I read through this chapter today, I was drawn to Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14 through verse 20. And it talks about what is expected of a king. It is Moses's description, his job description of what a king should do. And when I read that in conjunction with today's reading concerning Solomon, it at least hinted at the fact that Solomon saw enough of David to desire the qualities and the characteristics needed to live a virtuous life as a leader and as a king. Something about what he was exposed to made him want to be the kind of king that would lead wisely and justly. And I think what we could easily point back to is what we find in Deuteronomy chapter 17, how that passage may have impacted his father, and maybe perhaps the influence that his father had on him. And so when we look at Second Chronicles chapter 1, we read that in conjunction with Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14 through verse 20, we see just how powerful this request is from Solomon. If we look at chapter 72 of the book of Psalm, we'll recognize that there is yet another psalm written by Solomon. And again, it talks about the duties of a king. You can see where his fascination is. I believe if Solomon was living in our time, he would be one fascinated and obsessed with leading well. He would probably be like a leadership guru, because he seems to be so fixed on completing the task ahead and making sure it works out as it's supposed to. And you can see that in this psalm about how the Lord watches over the king, how the king fulfills his different duties and responsibilities. And this seems to be an ongoing theme. We'll continue to read about Solomon, and we'll also read some of the writings that he wrote in the Old Testament. He contributed quite a bit to the Old Testament narrative as well. What we see is he was not the psalmist that David was, but he was definitely a writer, and he wrote from a philosophical perspective and standpoint. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to hopefully grow from it. I'd love to know what your feedback is concerning the things we're reading, so please leave it in the comment box below, and we'd love to have further discussion around it. But until next time, thank you for watching. Take care. God bless. And remember, live by the word.